Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to the football terrace. Arteta on his way out. The dressing room, the divide is growing. The obligatory defending of Mikel Arteta by the board, by Edu has happened. I believe, it's my personal belief, without victories in the next 7 days, Mikel Arteta will lose his job, potentially even ahead of the mammoth Boxing Day clash against Chelsea. We're here to take your calls. You can call in now. The link for StreamYard is in the description below. While you're in that description, make sure you sign up to our Discord server as well. Keep the live chat going when you're there. But I want to hear from you today. We obviously had Lee Gunner on yesterday, Adam, KJ. But I want to hear from my community here at the Football Terrace. I want to know your thoughts and feelings to what's going on. But for me, it's as clear as the nose on the end of my face that Arteta is walking a dangerous, dangerous tightrope and finds himself in a very difficult situation. There is no doubt about it. And the fact that he's even responded to these rumors of losing the dressing room. He says here, I've said many times, when you have a squad that we have at the moment, for many circumstances, it's impossible to have 31 happy players in the camp. It's impossible, and I don't know any club in the world that has that. But obviously, when you lose again, these things are going to come out to try and put more pressure on and be disruptive. I'm not interested in any of that. But for me, it's more important that the players, and this is my view here, it's more important that the players come out and say and do something here. It's more important that the players come out and defend Mikel Arteta, because they're the ones who are being accused of selling him out here. They're the ones who are being accused of a lack of motivation. And I believe that's happening. Like, legitimately, I believe that's what's going on right now. I think the Arsenal players have lost absolutely every single bit of faith possible in their manager. I sincerely mean that. I think they've lost every single bit of faith in Mikel Arteta. And he has a maximum 3 games. But if the defeats this week that are highly plausible to Southampton and to Everton, he will lose his job. They can. Arsenal, have you seen the form that Arsenal were in? Since the first international break, and I always use that as a barometer because Arsenal fans were talking about best defense in the league at that point, about how Chelsea were inconsistent and Man United were in the mud. Since that point, 8 games have been played. Arsenal's form in the last 8 matches leaves them second bottom, 19th, 4 points in 8 games. Currently, Arsenal Football Club are tracking towards only achieving 28 points this season. 28 points this season. That is the level of performance that Mikel Arteta is getting from his players. That is never going to be ignored at a club Arsenal size. It's never going to be ignored. They have to step in and they have to do something. Of course, we're going to take your calls. We're going to take your... we're also going to take your super chats as well. Dean Tom here says, as a Tottenham fan, I'm loving this. What's your opinion on Ty from AFTV? And Agal is a thick American fan. Well, listen, bro, you don't need to be... like, respect the super chat. But Igal's not thick. Igal just loves these football clubs so deeply, he likes to defend them. He's also not American, he's Canadian, bro. So there's some irony there. He's not, it's different country, America and Canada. And on Ty, Ty is just, he is what he is. Ty's unyielding. We know what Ty's going to say. We know what Ty's going to do. It's what he's about. But it's as simple as that. Someone here saying Ollie just got sacked. Well, that's not true. Can you imagine if it was? Comment here, it says Zuma has more goals than Aubameyang. He does. This is true. And that's the issue. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to this, you know. So I'm talking about when it comes to this situation with Mikel Arteta. Tracking towards 28 points. No goals in open play in 8 games. No wins in the last... 4 straight defeats on the bounce, I think it is. It's crazy. 1 win in 8. It's the form of Arsenal Football Club is absolutely atrocious. And I'm actually going to go through that and actually give those details again, but accurately, because I've got so much information flying around my head. Often I forget. In the Premier League, let's look at this. That's it. Yeah. No wins in their last 5. 3 defeats on the bounce, 4 home defeats on the bounce at home. And when you look at the goals, no goals from open play in over 8 games. And actually, the goals in the Sheffield United game, I think they were set pieces. So I don't think Arsenal have actually scored a goal in open play since Fulham. It's crazy. Comment here says, ITES boy Isaac is coming to Old Trafford. Yeah, I did see that yesterday, and it'll be interesting. Now, my luck, he'll play very well and score. It's as simple as that. Terry set up Lee versus DT. It'll be like Fury Joshua. I doubt either of them would take the challenge on, if I'm being honest. I'd love to set it up. I'd love to host it, but we will see. Do me a favor before we go any further. Please hit that like and share button. We're going to get some fans on the line in a few moments now, but the most important thing for you to do is hit that like button. As I say, we really need your support in relation to that. But the question is, Arteta, when's he losing his job? Legit, when is Arteta losing his job? That's what I want to know. For me, I think he's got a maximum of 3 games to turn this around. And it depends upon those results because, and they've got to win them. When I say that, they've got to win them. Legitimately, they've almost got to win their next 3 games to get out of this mess. I can't see them getting more than 3 points. I don't know if that's going to be enough. It depends if any of the defeats are embarrassing. When you look at recent games, right? Burnley, bang average team, okay? Tottenham didn't really go for the jugular. Wolves beat them easily, in my opinion, and it would have been even more damning if Jimenez hadn't suffered that horrific injury early on in the game. Leeds United should have beaten them 4 or 5-0, but wasted chances. Villa slapped them. They beat Man United, we know. Villa, like at the Leicester game, there was still that resolve within Arsenal, but since the sort of Villa game, the resolve has gone. Southampton, Everton, and Chelsea have the ability not just to beat Arsenal, but to obliterate them, to annihilate them. To quote Harry Potter here, to disapparate them, bruv. Like proper, Expelliarmus, gone. Where you at, bruv? Finish. Do you know what I'm saying? Voldemort things. Like, honestly, it could be that peak the next 3 games. Harry here, Harry Gillam in the house says, a club called Leyton Orient had a shocking board and went from League One to the conference. If Arsenal do not sort it out and sack the manager, they could go the same way. Harry, 2 of my brothers are Leyton Orient fans. Orient didn't just go from League One to the conference. Orient were 45 minutes away from going into the championship. They were 1-0 up, and I think they lost 2-1 in the end in a championship playoff final. The League One playoff final to go into the championship. They went from that to being also runs in the conference because of a badly run football club. And Arsenal football, I genuinely mean this. Another reason that they have to sack this manager, he doesn't know how to get him out of this situation. Legit, bruv. Like, Arteta doesn't have the minerals, the ability, the nous to get them out of a relegation fight. Not with everything going on. If Edu is telling the truth and they stick with Arteta for the long term, at least they'll win the league next year because they'll win the championship. Dean here says, as long as Arsenal has Arteta, they keep relegation form. But if they get a new manager, they will bounce and bump up to 10th and will probably win the Carabao Cup, and AFTV will get gassed. Ty certainly will. We're going to jump into some of your calls now. Keep smashing that like button, people. I can't express to you enough how important it is to the YouTube community that you keep hitting that button. It really is. Thank you for all the super chats so far. I'm sure we're going to get many, many more of them coming through. But let's get some callers on the line. We're going to go first of all to... We're going to go to first. Been waiting a while. We're going to go to Stephen. Man like Stephen in the house. Steve, welcome to the show, mate. How you doing, brother?
Not been too bad. Yourself? Well, I've had better weekends, to be honest, and it's not really because of football.
Yeah.
Can I just make this quite quick before carry on? Obviously, people follow my story on my YouTube channel to raise awareness for disease and that. Last Friday, I had a meeting with the doctors, and they've said my current health problem, they may never be able to fix it, and I might have infusions every week and be completely having to do care and dependency and stuff. So, which is quite upsetting. And on top.
No, I totally.
You
very,
well,
very sad news.
and plus your channel as well, because if we wouldn't have reached the £1,000 target, paid without your support, Claude the Bancers and everyone else. So.
Not a problem at all, mate. Anything we can do to help, we always will. And obviously, sad news to hear about your health conditions, buddy. Really is sad news. From an Arsenal point of view, obviously, they're not cheering you up very much either. I mean, what's your view on this, mate? Should Arteta be kept in the job or should he be sacked? What's your opinion, bro?
He's got to go. I'm sorry. He's got to go. People look at last season, right? Emery had three defeats when he got sacked. But if we look at it, you can't really look at evidence to see if he can get us out of his mess, because it's his first job. I feel sad for him in a way, because he's been put in this situation by a board that don't give a crap. They knew it was a cheap option, and that with that sort of experience in the mess that Arsenal were in, I mean, you could put Rafa Benitez, which what I was thinking before Arteta came in, or any other top manager, and they'd struggle to get this problem with Arsenal sorted, because it's been going on for years, right, with the mismanagement of this club. And I'm sorry, he's just got to. Like I said, the top managers would struggle to cope with the mess that we have at this club, and it's not really fair on him when he's got a first job and he's trying to find his way as a manager.
And that's where I agree with you so much, Stephen. It's
disheartening in a way. It's disheartening in a way, because I grew up watching Arsenal. Arsenal being at top level of football, and these last 16 years, it's just gradually got worse and worse and worse, and it breaks my heart to the Arsenal the way it is, and generally, like, I think all of football would be sort of disheartened the way like Arsenal are, because we are one of the biggest clubs. We used to be the third biggest club in England. We can't count ourselves as a big club anymore.
No, mate, I get that completely. We're getting a few connection issues your end, mate, Steve, but I really appreciate you coming on, having your say, and telling us what you think and feel. And listen, I hope you feel better soon, and we'll definitely chat soon as well, mate. Stephen, take care of yourself, buddy. Thank you, mate.
We'll get some sort of awareness stream sorted at some point, yeah?
Lovely. All right, then, mate. Speak to you soon. Take care.
All right.
Top man. Thank you, Stephen. And I agree with what he says. You know, look, we can banter Arsenal all you want, but the downfall is there. And on what he was saying about Arteta needs to be moved out. Arteta needs to be moved on. He just doesn't have the minerals to get the club through this situation. We've got GNA TV ads on the show now. How's it going, brother?
I'm good, bro. Yeah, man, thanks for having me on. I just want to express my thoughts as a rival fan. I don't think it's good where Arsenal are at right now. It's very depressing to see. Obviously, I am a younger fan, but I've seen Arsenal when they've been good. And I feel like, you know, when they've been winning things, just like Stephen said, I'm a regular on his channel. I always talk to him about this. He's Arteta out, and I don't blame him, because the rivals clearly want Arteta to stay, so they keep messing up and keep getting easy results against them. But it's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen. And he looked like he was just because he won a cup, and they make it out to be minor now. So,
yeah, do you know what I think it comes down to? I hear you on that. The big issue for me when I look at this is, like you say, the FA Cup. I'm not even saying it papered over cracks. Arteta is what he is, and I think Arteta is a very talented young fledgling manager who has the ability to go on and do very good things in football. The problem is, to be successful in life isn't just about your ability and about your quality. It's about the environment that you find yourself in. And that club is clearly broken. That squad has major issues. Yeah. You couple that together with a manager that has never been through this. I don't even think in his playing career he's been through a situation like this, let alone as a manager. He clearly hasn't. This is his first job. He's 12 months old. He's a baby in regard to that. I just think that he is in a massive hole and he doesn't have a big enough shovel to get himself out of it. And it isn't about attacking Arteta. It's about the club doing the right thing, because this could end up destroying Mikel Arteta's career as manager if they don't fix up and move him out. Can you, as a rival fan, can you see them picking up any points in their next 3 games?
You know what? I'll say this right now, though. Obviously, I'm a realist, but I say how it is, man. They don't look like they're going to pose any threat at all to any of the teams they're facing in the next 3 games. I feel like Southampton, the only good thing that will come out of that will be a draw maximum. I don't think they're going to win against them, bro. Like, I'll say this right now, though. Everyone says, oh, yeah, they're going to lose the next 3 games. And then out of the blue, they tend to win them, which is what we don't want. But to be real, they're not going to beat Chelsea. They're not going to. And I feel like Southampton are a different beast this season, bro. So, no, I
Yeah.
don't see them winning anything.
And it could become embarrassing. My brother, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for the Gal video you made for us the other day. Absolutely really appreciate it, my friend. Speak to you soon. Thank you very much for coming on. Top man. Thank you. Some super chats here. We put it up. It says, honestly, do you think Ollie is a better manager than Arteta? And also, if both managers swap teams, would their teams be better or worse? I think Ollie's a marginally better manager and coach. Marginally. The one thing Ollie has as an advantage is he's been coaching and he's been around the system for 10 plus years. The dressing room hasn't gone. That's a telltale sign for you. Arteta's won a major trophy here in the UK, which Ollie hasn't. But if that's the only barometer that you want to go with, then fair enough. But I think Ollie's marginally better. But I'm not talking, we're talking tallest dwarf here. And it is what it is as far as I'm concerned. It's just because my micro penis is bigger than your micro penis doesn't mean either of us have got a big one. You know what I'm saying, bruv? Like, that's the way I look at these type of things. We've got a super chat here from Man Light Zane, who says, sack Manuel, the waiter from 40 Towers, and get Don Allegri in. I've got a question for Zane and everybody else. Do you really think a manager of Allegri's quality and class would come to Arsenal at this moment in time? Does anybody realistically see that being plausible? And I ask that as a genuine question. I'm not trying to be salty or offensive. I want your views and I want your opinions on that. We've got a couple more super chats and then we're going to get some more callers on. Universal Boss here says, afternoon, did hear Ty's interview saying Arsenal are the only team to win all their European games in both competitions and Robbie wanted to slap him. I didn't hear that bit. I don't remember hearing that bit. I watched bits and pieces of everything going on. That's the issue, isn't it? Like they are, but who they played in Europe. Wait till they come up against Benfica in the next round. They're going to get slapped. I mean, it's just, but that's typical Ty for you. It's why I love Ty. I would love to come on this show and talk about my club, Arsenal, but I have Terrace, and I'm afraid I would say something. Much love, Terry. No worry, Alex Bomb. We're going to get iTest on the show next. I'm sure iTest is going to... I don't know what he's going to say, but make sure you're hitting that like button, please. Over 1,000 people watching this. Get this past 500 likes right now, people. Man like iTest on the show. What are you saying, mate?
Yes, I wanted to say Arsenal fans deserve everything they're getting now. They deserve everything they're getting now, and I hope they get relegated because these people don't see what the real issues at their club is. Let me tell you why. When Wenger was there, this guy was consistently getting them top 4 with Marwan Chamakh, Olivier Giroud, and Theo Walcott consistently every season, other than his last season. He was consistently getting top 4 with these dead players. Now they can't even make the top half with Aubameyang, £70 million Pepe, and Thomas Partey. Can't even make top half. They don't see what the real issues are. And also Unai Emery, this guy was at least getting them into the top half. Now, and they were calling for him out. And now they can't even make the top half. They got Wenger out, they got Unai Emery out, and now they got Arteta, can't even make the top half. And now hindsight, when we look back on Wenger's time, we could say he's overachieved. With these dead players, he was getting top 4. Marwan Chamakh getting top 4. They don't see what the real issues are at their club. The issue isn't the manager. They could get Allegri. They're not gonna get. They're not gonna improve.
Do you want to know something, bro? I don't overtly disagree with you, but and I don't like doing this, but can you not see the hypocrisy in something you're saying here? Because you think sacking a manager at Man United is going to make a big difference when our history shows that it isn't our managers. It's because they keep failing. It's the club. It's certain players. It's the ethos. We're identical to Arsenal. The difference between Man United and Arsenal is we do have a better squad. But in terms of us reaching our pinnacle again, we are in exactly the same situation. That's why I think Man United fans get where Arsenal are. I think that's why there's an element of, from my point of view, I banter them. But at the same time, there is this noise in the back of my head that tells me that we might not be too far away from going in exactly the same direction that Arsenal are. But you're absolutely right. Look, Mikel Arteta for me is out of his depth. I don't think he can manage the situation. It isn't about his tactics or anything else. It's the situation. His youthfulness as a manager, etc. They're in big trouble. Do you think they're going to keep him though, Arteta?
You see, I think they should sack him. I think they should sack him. But the Arsenal fans, I see some of them on your channel. They're focusing on the wrong issues. People need to put respect on people. Like Igao, I see him on your channel. He talks facts. Even Ty, yeah, this guy told people that Wenger wasn't the problem from back then. Now hindsight, I'll say again, hindsight, we could see that Wenger was overachieving, especially with the backing he was getting. So was Unai Emery. Unai Emery was doing a lot better than what Arteta is now. So
on that point, I hear where you're coming from. So do you think, Arteta, that this, when you look at this squad, how good is it? So when you look at the rest of the league, so I'm looking at the league table right now. It's in front of me. I'm looking at this right now. Right, Arsenal squad. We'll go through this together. We'll do this live on the air. Arsenal squad is better than Sheffield United, right?
Yes.
Better than West Brom's.
Yes.
Better than Fulham's.
Yes.
Better than Burnley. Better than Brighton.
Yes.
Better than Leeds.
Yes.
Better than Newcastle's.
Yes.
Better than Palace's.
Yes.
Better than Villa's.
Yes.
Better than Man United's.
No.
Better than City's.
No.
Better than Everton's.
No.
Okay. Better than West Ham's.
Yes.
Better than Southampton's.
Yes.
So I've done like 14, 15 teams there. And you're saying Arsenal squad's better than theirs, but yet you're saying the managers are overachieving. They're not. So, and in my opinion, Arsenal's squad has got progressively worse to this point than it was, say, 4 years ago under Arsene Wenger. When you did the comparisons, I would say that at no point in the last 5 years has Arsenal's squad been stronger than the only teams I would say that at no point they've been stronger than as a squad. It's been Tottenham, Chelsea, City, Liverpool. Those would be the four that I'd say you could guarantee in the last 5 years Arsenal have not been stronger than. But they've been as strong as others or stronger than the majority that whole time, bruv. So I don't understand how an elite level manager who's called world class like Wenger is overachieving to finish 4th and 5th and 6th, which is about the level that you've just rated the Arsenal squad. Unai Emery was slightly underachieving. Mikel Arteta has just dropped even further. The problem you have, and I've said the same about United, I keep the energy, bro. When your clubs run poorly and there is no real structure, there is no real direction, the most important thing you need is a world-class level manager to elevate and raise you. You're never going to win the league. Arsenal are never winning the league with this current ownership and structure, same as Man United. Facts. But if you bring in inexperienced sort of managers that we don't know how good or bad they're going to be, that's when you end up in this situation, which is why right now the first point of call is to sack Mikel Arteta, because he will relegate them this season if he stays. They're tracking towards 28 points. It's absolutely horrendous.
I agree they should sack us Arteta, because I believe he won't get relegated, but I don't believe he will finish in the top half. But I disagree that you say Wenger was not overachieving. Top 4. This guy had the horrible squad. You have to remember how bad it was. Their squad now is better than it was back then. They didn't have Thomas Partey. They didn't have 70 million Nicolas Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette.
No, Wenger signed Aubameyang. Wenger signed Lacazette.
That was in the last 6 months. Last 6 months, he had Aubameyang. He didn't have him for a long time.
He had Lacazette the season before, but they've had top players there, bro. They had a peak Alexis Sanchez, who at the time, in my opinion, Alexis Sanchez was one of the top 2-3 players in the Premier League. They had Koscielny at the back. Koscielny, when he was in his pomp under Wenger, is better than any centre-back they've got now.
Yeah, but end of the day, I don't think he should have been sacked. I don't believe the energy was justified that Arsenal fans gave him. And now they're getting what they deserve.
And I understand that, and you're entitled to that opinion, mate. I really do. Can you honestly see them being relegated, though, I test? Like, legit?
I don't see them getting relegated. Looking at their next couple games, it depends on that. If they do well in their next couple games, I think they're safe. But it's a very tough run of fixtures. I think they have Southampton. They have a very tough run of fixtures. So I think it depends on the next 5 games. We'll see.
I hear you on that, bro. Test. Listen, always a pleasure having you on. It's actually quite nice when we don't talk about man. Oh, quickly, Isak is coming to Old Trafford. Is he going to destroy Man United?
Isak against Harry Maguire. I'm telling you what Isak is going to do to your boy Harry Maguire. You deserve it.
He's not my boy. He's our boy. You're a Man United fan.
He's not my boy.
No, he's your captain, bro.
He's not my captain.
Can I ask you a question as a Man United fan? Do you want to see your favourite player, Isak, embarrass your club captain? You do. That's my proof. You're not a Man United fan. No fan would ever want that to happen. Ali, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Speak to you soon. Take care. Next up, we're gonna throw in next. We're gonna throw in. Thank you, by the way, for becoming a member there. N.dot and Mains TV, the People Show. I think that says there. Thank you very much for becoming an official Academy member of the Football Terrace. You can sign up and become a member right now. The link's in the description below from as little as 99p per month. Next up, we're going to get Laddie on. Laddie Mus. Ladda la 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 la. Ladda Mus. Laddie Mus. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good personally. How are you, Terry?
I'm very, very well. Very well. Enjoying watching Arsenal's sort of prolonged funeral.
Yeah.
Can you see Arteta being sacked this week?
No, because the board won't sack him and the fans don't want him gone. So no, the fans are the ones who put pressure for Emery to be sacked, let's be honest. As fans, we always say that we're, the biggest thing when it comes to football. Without us, there is no football. Then why is it that we don't then take accountability for things? Arteta won't get sacked if the fans don't come out and demand it. And if he doesn't, and he leads them into a relegation battle, they won't come out of it because there's no fight within their team.
Yeah, I mean, do you stand by your comments the other day? You were very forthright in saying to Arsenal fans, the Arsenal fans are continually backing Arteta, buying the merchandise and not speaking out. Do you stand by what you said, that they are an absolute embarrassment as fans to Arsenal Football Club?
Yeah, the fact that they see the problems, but they choose to ignore it, or they choose to mask it, or they choose to banter other teams that are doing much better than them, but they'll go through maybe a little blip, like United getting knocked out of the champions, finishing third in their group to be in the Europa League now. They're laughing at that, but why? You've been in the Europa League for 4 years on the bounce now. You haven't been able to win it. You can't laugh at United. Chelsea just lost to Everton. You can't laugh at Chelsea right now because we're possibly in a title race. You can't laugh at Spurs for dropping points against Palace because they're in a title race. Spurs could actually win the league this season. You can't laugh at Liverpool.
Yeah,
they're Premier League champions.
I look at it this way: they can, but the ones that make me die are they banter other clubs, and then when they get the banter on them, they cry about it.
Exactly.
Like it's the old adage, isn't it? Of don't throw stones when you live in a glass house, and they do. They throw boulders, bro. They throw big ass boulders, and then when something comes back at them, they're like, "Oh, leave us alone, bro. It's not our fault." So I hear you on that one completely. So you don't think Arteta is going to be sacked? I do get that. Do you see them getting any points in the next 2 to 3 games between now and Boxing Day, which is only 11 days away? Southampton, Everton, Chelsea. What's going to happen in those matches, bro?
3 points, maybe. You know what's even funny? Look, when we play them, we are going to obliterate Arsenal. However, if they, because I know the cycle is just going to continue. We play them on Boxing Day. If they beat us, you'll see the fans come on here. All the Arsenal fans will come on the Terrace or AFTV, social media, to start gassing everything. See, even as bad as we're doing, we're still better than Chelsea. Lampard's this, Arteta's this, yada, yada, yada. They'll go to their next 6 games, won't pick up any points, and the whole cycle will continue. And you have Arsenal fans that will come on here being all depressed, saying that, oh, it's so bad and everything, our board, but they won't address the issue with Arteta. They'll go in January, they won't sign anyone, or they won't sign their main target. They'll pick up some B Tech or C Tech player. They'll compare him to Fernandes and say, look, we're going to get through this. We'll get through this. And then they'll possibly end up in a relegation battle. And they could actually get relegated. It's not even a joke anymore.
I listen, I hear you on that, bro. I really do. Prime, thank you very much for coming on and speaking your mind and having your say. Really appreciate it. We're going to jump through some more calls here. Next on the line, we're going to get Kish. Kish, welcome to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say, bro?
Yeah, Terry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Go for it, my man.
Yeah, I remember against Burnley on AFTV. I don't remember the guy, but he was talking about the loss, and he was saying for this season, it's not about how many games Arsenal win, but it's about how many games they actually lose this season, especially being that they're in December. And I think last season, the last 10 games, and right now, the last 8, I think, with the likes of Chelsea coming up, your Southampton, so they could even go over 10, which I think they will. And for me, Mikel Arteta is not that experienced to turn things around for Arsenal, and I think the best thing is to just start the guy. If they end up picking up good points against these 3 teams that's coming up until January, then I think, you know what, you have to go in the transfer window and help and get some players to back the guy, and then give him maybe to the end of the season, and maybe give him one more season. But if he goes on with this run, then I think they definitely have to sack him, and they can't do it too late, man, to be honest, because we cannot laugh at Arsenal and whatever, but it's bad seeing them in this run, 15 in the league. Like, that's like the 15th worst team in the league, and you look at the squad, it can't be possible, Terry. It can't be possible. So there are many factors why Arsenal is in this position, to be honest.
Mate, Kish, I appreciate it. We're going to jump through some calls real quick here. I think you're absolutely right in what you say. It's bigger than just the squad. It's bigger than just the players. No doubt about it. Smash that like button, people. Next up on the show, we're going to have Hussein. Hussein, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Terry. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. We're getting a little bit of playback. I'm not sure if you've got a stream open in the background.
Give me a second.
No problem.
It should be fine.
There we go. I'm still getting a little bit, but it should be okay. From your point of view, should Mikel Arteta be sacked, and what do you think is going to have to happen for that to go through? Or do you feel like maybe Edu's telling the truth and they're going to stand by him this season no matter what?
No, look, Terry, what I can tell you, is that you know me. I'm not a fan of an English club, but I've got respect and love for the English football, yeah? And being a Bayern fan, I've never taken Arsenal seriously after that 10-2 win against Arsenal. Ever since then, I've just thought to myself, are we the reason maybe they've gotten worse? Because I remember AFTV back then, it was just Troops, DT, everyone just saying, Wenger out, and it was just, I thought it was funny, but now I just feel sad, I just feel bad for Arsenal because, that was, for me, it was a funny loss, 5 on each legs for us, but, for Arsenal, it's just
Do you know what I'd say, mate, is this? I remember it going, I used to live with one of my best mates, he's a gooner, and we moved into the same house, me and a few boys, we all moved into the same house. I want to say 2006, 2007, and Arsenal was still a proper team then. But the slide had begun, but nobody really took it as a slide because it was in the early days and they were still making top 4. They were still putting on title challenges. And what first started going wrong at Arsenal was getting to end of February, March, and the season started falling apart. And this happened almost every year, 10 years. And within that, you then started seeing results like against you, the 8-2 defeat to Man United. I swear in one season, and I might get this slightly wrong because I'm not an Arsenal fan, they went away from home to Liverpool, City, United, and we're getting beat 4-5-0. And it just slide just continued. And I think I just made a good point earlier that a lot of people put it on Wenger. And Wenger was part of the problem. He was past his best as a manager.
Yeah.
But the whole club has been sliding down a hill now for 15, 16 years. and results like against yourselves stand out because I think that's when a lot of Arsenal fans woke up and smelt the coffee. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. Do you think they'll sack Arteta?
Honestly, I don't think they will, but I think they should. Now, the thing is, I've seen people say bring Allegri, and I don't think Allegri fits their play style. But again, the thing is, with Arsenal, we've seen that the thing with Arsenal and other clubs is the fact that they can still, they can still win something. They can still, because they're a big club still. But it's the fact that I'm looking at Arsenal nowadays, and they're saying that Arteta is a good manager, which I don't think he's bad. I don't think there's anything special about him though, but it's the fact that when you look at him play, it's just uninspiring, and sometimes you gotta put things like that under the manager because it's like sometimes they can't even string a few passes together. You know what I mean? And it's just, the football's quality has just gotten worse and worse. So I'm just looking at it, as much as you can back him, like, and that's the other thing I don't trust as well because the thing with clubs like Arsenal is the fact that look at the deadwood they have. Like, they've got players like Ozil on high wages. This guy should be gone by now. And, people are saying, like, oh, he's not playing because of the politics. But I'm sure he played after December when he spoke out, with the politics and stuff like that. And he was still playing. So I'm just kind of looking at it like, why is Arteta not playing him? You know what I mean?
The revision of history when it comes to Ozil is interesting because, I used to do a show live on AFTV after every single game they played. And I did that for nearly 18 months or so. And Ozil was really always the guy that they wanted out. He didn't turn up. He didn't work hard enough. Now suddenly him being missing is one of the key sources of problem. Now creativity is the issue. I don't think Ozil is the answer. There's a comment here from Universal boss Jurgen Klopp. Thank you for the super chat, brother. It means a great deal to us. He says the problem with Arsenal was Wenger only had United to challenge up until 2005, and then Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and other teams challenged for the top four, and they did not build. And I think that's a really great point. By the way, Hussein, thank you very much for coming on. Also, great help with the Discord server that you've helped set up as well, brother. Thank you very, very much. We'll chat to you again soon. I think it's a great super chat and a great point that you've made there. Other teams have come to the party now, and Arsenal, that's part of the reason Arsenal's fall has been so gigantic is other teams on the rise. You cannot get away from that. You really, really can't. Next up on the show, we're going to have man like Igao. Igao is with us. We're going to get him on the air in a few moments. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting that share button as well. We've gone past the half an hour mark, so we're going to do what we always do here. We're going to go to member chat only. You can sign up and be a member for as little as 99p per month. We always like to pay homage and respect to our super chatters. We really do. Kevin here says Arsenal are finished. Spurs for the title. Let's get Igao on though, people. Let's see what he's got to say.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a girl to ride. I need a girl to make my wife. I need a girl who's mine, oh mine. I need a girl in my life. I need a girl to ride. I need a girl to be my wife. Nobody else, she's all mine. I need a girl. Yeah. Yo, I'm internationally known on the microphone.
Igao is with us. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Sorry, man, I can't have my camera on today. This camera's messed up.
Not a problem at all.
Listen, honestly, I still right now am kind of confused how we're in the situation. And I understand that people are saying Arteta's the sole problem, but that is disingenuous, Terry. Arteta's not the sole issue here. There's a lot of issues that have come together at the same time. But one thing I will say about Arteta is I have lost a little respect for him in regards to what he did with the Xhaka statement, how he went at Pepe for the red card, but doesn't have the same energy for Xhaka. To me, that's wrong. And if you're going to have that kind of energy towards Xhaka and not have the same energy with Pepe, almost cuddling Xhaka and getting at Pepe, I'm confused. Like, you have to tell us the reason why. And I feel like, Terry, what we need is not a statement saying, oh, the board are backing Arteta. We need a statement addressing the situation that we're in and saying sending an apology letter to the fans or doing something. Because you know, other clubs, when they get in these kind of situations, immediately the figurehead steps up and says, "This is what's going on. We're going to address these situations." They hold a press conference, and the fact that there is no representation or anybody stepping up and saying anything right now, it's almost gone dead silent. If we lose again to Southampton, Terry, it's already been a crisis. It's going to be pandemonium if we lose.
Yeah, I think on the defending Xhaka and not Pepe, I understand fans want to understand why they say that's bad, and I understand that train of thought. You then need to ask yourself, look at it from the other end of the spectrum, take your own emotions out of it, and say, what could be the logic? And I always say this to people: forget when you think emotionally, logic always leaves you behind. Think about it logically. And the one thing that stands out to me is, because this matters to managers, is how hard the two are working behind the scenes. Xhaka, I don't think he's good enough. Told you that for many, many months. I think his behavior was wrong, petulant. He's always a yellow card or a penalty away from happening. And I don't understand why people keep picking him. But I think for a lot of managers, there's a reason why Wenger, Unai Emery, Freddie, when he was caretaker, and now this guy are all picking him. And I think it's because he works hard and he shows fight. And that means a lot to people. That, for me, Arteta's never going to admit this because he wouldn't want to say publicly that one guy isn't working hard. That would be the logic. Now, you may not agree with it, but that would be the logical answer that, well, this guy's working really, really hard in training and he made a mistake, but because he's given his all and he's fighting, I can work with that. And most people in any industry can work with hard workers, as opposed to more talented people that are not. And it's like this, bro. I'm sure you work very hard at your job, and I'm sure you do a good job, and you turn up. I know you do. You've told me you do extra overtime. You work really, really hard. Wouldn't you expect, if you made a mistake, wouldn't you expect your boss to treat you better than the skiver in the room, or the guy that's always late, or the guy that doesn't work hard? Wouldn't you expect, yes, you get reprimanded for the mistake, but to be given more of a chance?
100%. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what's going on, because I don't know. But I would say to Arsenal fans that are angry, just take your emotions out for 5 minutes and think about it logically. What could be the rationale? This sort of, you hear these jokes, teach his pets, or he must have nudes of the player, or nudes of the manager, or he's got his favorites. It isn't about, I don't think managers have favorites based on, I like him, or he's more of a laugh when we go to the pub. I think it's, these 10 people work their socks off for me. These 3 or 4 people, they're a little lazy. They don't follow through with the instructions. They don't deliver what they're meant to do. And I think, and we've seen this, and pragmatic managers are the worst for this. The pragmatic managers, their systems only work if people adhere to things 100%. That would be my logic. However, I think he was better off saying nothing. I think he was better off, and I agree with you on that. So I think logically, I reckon the reason he's done it is because one works hard in training and fights for the one doesn't. Realistically, what I would have done is look, I don't want any more of my players making stupid decisions in games that cost us. I would have come out with a very generic comment like that, because now this has created an additional issue, if that makes sense, that I don't think needs to be there. But let me ask you this question, bro. It's been 24, nearly 48 hours, since you lost defeat. Do you feel, honestly, like you're in a relegation fight?
This is a situation, Terry. If we are in this situation 10 games into a regular season and it's not December, you guys wouldn't be saying that. I feel like the fact that the season's starting later, and obviously we are in bad form, you guys are, I think it's more banter than realistic, because you know that we're going to go and try to make some changes. Even for me, backing the manager doesn't mean you go splash the cash in the window. It means understand that you have to take a loss on certain people and get rid of them as soon as possible. To me, that is backing the manager as much as possible. And if they can do that, then hopefully we can turn this around, and hopefully I'm smiling at the end of the season when everything's gone a little bit better. But right now, it's very bad. And Terry, it's all doom and gloom, and it's tough to see yourself in this situation saying anything positive. So I don't even know. What I'm going to tell you is, I think we can do it, but I don't have any evidence to show you. That's the problem.
I understand that. And look, for me, it's 12. The reason I'm taking Arsenal's position seriously is, in my footballing lifetime, what I've heard from the pros, the pundits, my father, football people, is you shouldn't really start looking at the table until 10 games in. That's the first time where a table starts to take shape. You're 12 games in. And this is what I'm going to say is this. These next 3 games are imperative, because after the next 3 games, we're almost halfway through the league. And nobody can say halfway through a season that the league, that the where you sit in the league table is just a bit of bad form, or it's been a bit of bad luck. It's a reflection, because if you double that, and that's the full season, that's it. That's the barometer. You can't, there has to be a cutoff point where you say this isn't form anymore. This is our level. And I'm looking at Arsenal and saying, if you are on no more than 15, 16 points in 3 more games time, you are you're a mid-table team at best, or a relegation one at worst. And I think that's the category you're going to sit in. And honestly, bro, I'm not even saying this for salt. I'm not even saying this for attention. I think you'd be lucky to get a maximum 3 points out of your next 3 games. And if you don't win any of them, you actually legitimately could be in that bottom 3. And if you are, after these next 3 games, sitting in that relegation zone, what then?
At that point, I generally feel like Arteta is a dead man walking. There's nothing we can do as fans when the media is against him, the results are not coming your way. Because I always say it, Terry, it's a results business for me. I look at the wins and losses. And right now I look like a hypocrite backing Arteta after all these situations. I'm not going to turn on him, because I feel like it's pointless. Realistically, the board are behind him. As long as the board are behind him, as long as Edu and these guys are behind him, hopefully we can pick up some points before the new year. But if we do not pick up a point, Terry, between now and the new year, and we don't win a game from now until the new year, I honestly don't know what to say to you. It's not even funny anymore. It's not a joke.
Let me ask you, there's a comment here from one of our members who says, who's going to start over Xhaka? That's what I'm asking, because maybe that guy...
Elneny.
No, so it'll be Elneny starting, what, next to Ceballos?
Elneny, Ceballos, Willock midfield. I honestly, some would say it's probably more mobile and more attacking and more balanced than having Xhaka and Elneny next to each other.
It's going to be missing for the next game. Partey's out injured. I don't even know if there's a return date for him yet. That's been announced. Hector Bellerin's banned, which is probably a good thing. Maitland-Niles will come in. Xhaka,
oh, amazing.
Yeah, Xhaka's out, and then obviously there's a few other injuries as well. It's going to be a tough one. I mean,
can I address something Prime said earlier?
Yeah, go for it.
And Lee Gunnar said it the other day too. When it comes to fans like myself, if I'm going to be here taking it, and I'm always here, Terry, I never hide. When your team loses, believe me, I'm going to come as a football fan, throw salt your way too. It's not necessarily, oh, I should look at my team situation every single time and be like, oh, I can't talk about other people. We have Reading fans bantering Arsenal fans. I live in Basingstoke. I have Reading fans bantering me. Do you think they should be able to banter me? No, but at the same time, they can do that because that's football culture. That's how it is. And realistically, people who say, "Oh, you can't be bantering other teams when your team's in a bad situation," you got to check yourself out, man. Because realistically, life's not like that.
But I think the difference is what they're saying is, or at least Prime anyway, is it's when people can't take the banter their way. And what I would say to you is this, bro, because I know that KJ's pulled you on this a few times on this show. Is you always tell everyone to respect Arsenal, but yet you throw salt at their clubs. It's like you can't ask people to respect Arsenal and then throw salt at the same time at other clubs.
Context.
No, but but there isn't really. The context. What? The context is, Gal, that we all told you that Arsenal were a mess and winning the FA Cup was going to overinflate everybody's views. You were all buying into the media PR, and you weren't as good as you thought. Now, I didn't think you would be as bad as this. That's even a shock to me. But I was saying, when everybody was doing their predictions for the season, and they were saying Arsenal 7th, 8th, some saying 9th, you were getting angry about that. And that's what people have the issue with, is that you demand respect from them towards your club, but yet you banter other people. They find that hypocritical. That don't make sense. So you either join in with the banter, or you like always and take it, or you don't get involved at all. I think that's what I'm hearing when they say what they say.
I'm here, and if I like it or not, I'm representing the Arsenal fan base. And I don't represent everybody. I represent myself. When I'm speaking, I'm defending the fact that I feel like it's too much one way. And to balance things out, I'm myself. I'm who I am. And I'm trying to balance out the banter from the realisticness. And when somebody says, oh, Arsenal's going to finish in the bottom half of the table at the beginning of the season, realistically, Terry, if I told you that and you really were going to put money on it, you wouldn't do that. But when people say that, I feel like they're throwing salt. Right now, it looks like they're spot on. And that's where I'm, honestly, it's just sad. But hey, When it comes to throwing salt and not being able to take it, I can take it. One thing that I can't take is when you are being disingenuous and saying, oh, the team is terrible. When Arteta did turn things around, Arteta did get us results against teams that we weren't getting results against. There was some positives at the end of the last season. If we weren't going into this season all doom and gloom. Let's be realistic here. There was some positives. And the year before, we were supposed to be locked in on the top 4. We won the window. Remember, we did amazing. Honestly, I get stuck in drinking the Kool-Aid. Honestly, that's what happens. I get caught drinking the Kool-Aid.
Just made the point there, and I let Arsenal fans that were on my channel last year do the same thing. It's one of the reasons myself and unofficial pundit fell out, because he couldn't see what I was doing, allowing Gooners to gas themselves. We won the window. This is what Arsenal fans said at the beginning of the previous season when Unai was your manager still.
Yeah.
We had the best window. We've got a top-level manager, and we've got like a better squad than United and Chelsea. We will finish in front of them. And the same thing was being said this same summer. And you're right. Arteta got you're right and wrong. Arteta got some good results at the end of last season, and I praised him for that. But it was, you guys went from, do you know what? We've shown some good promise. There's some green shoots of hope. We had a decent summer. We've signed some decent players. Let's be realistic. We finished, was it 7th or 8th last year?
We finished, I think we finished 8th.
So you finished 8th. Rather than saying, look, top 4 is an outside chance, depends on the improvement of other teams. But I think, we'll win more games, we'll yield more points, we'll do well. It was this kind of, we won the FA Cup, we're better than United, we're better than Chelsea, we're better than Tottenham, we're going to get back in front of you. It was that, the level of confidence and sort of unyielding nature of those comments, which has led to people saying, you're nowhere near that, slow down. Because what I think Arsenal fans really discounted was the fact that all the teams that were already in front of them also had the opportunity to improve. And I was saying the same thing to Lee last night, that I get that with a better manager, you'd improve, but Chelsea are getting better. Tottenham have clearly got better. United in the league have got better. So it isn't just about you improving. It's the motion that you're going in. If I'm going at 100 miles an hour and so are you, but you put your foot down and go 110, you're only going to overtake me if you're going faster than me for a period of time. If I go 115 miles an hour, just because you've sped up by 10 doesn't mean you're overtaking me. And that was my kind of frustration in the summer. So all I did is let yourselves talk and say what you've got to say. And it ended up playing into my hands better than I thought. As a rival fan, this has been beautiful to see. The same as if Man United were down there right now, you'd be loving it. But I said to you at the time, don't get away with yourself. Don't get overly gassed with the FA Cup and those good results against big teams.
That's who I am, though, Terry. That's who I am as a person.
I know who you are.
I get
that, but it's going to come on social media. It's going to come back. This channel gets over 5 million views a month. It's going to come back and bite you in the backside at some point. And people are going to call you out on it. Like, you've just got to accept that.
Terry, I'm like that in real life. If I get a note at work saying the company might lose a big client, I start looking for another job because I think they're going to start sacking people. So I always get overly prepared. And when something goes well, I get overly excited. But that's just who I am as a human being. I need to be more balanced. And I get that when we lose, I get too emotional. But hey, that's just who I am. I can't change that, right?
Well, I don't think you do get too emotional. I think you're absolutely fine to do what you do and be who you are. That there's no, we've had conversation privately. There's no issues with any of that. It's just, I like it. And listen, the to and fro you and Prime are having is great. Like, for me, as a content creator, it's brilliant to see. It's what we want to see. It's real life. That is real life football fans support rival clubs having a go at each other. Prime thinks the way you support your club is embarrassing. You don't think it is. Let's have it out on air. It's fine. By the way, it ain't personal. Like, I don't listen to any of these arguments go, oh, they're having a go at each other on a personal level. It's all good. But listen, Gal, bruv, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, bro.
No, never a problem. Take care, mate. Thank you. Do me a favor and smash that like button. Hit the share button as well. Let's do some of these member comments here. Alex here with the super chat says, Arsenal depressed the Gal. If you finish 11th with a new manager and win the cup, what will you think? He's not still on. I should have asked him that when he was still here. Oh, hang on. Latimer's Prime's come back. Latimer's Prime's come back. Latimer's Prime has come back. Laddie, what are you saying?
Hi. Yeah, the thing with Igal thinks that I'm saying you guys shouldn't support the club the way you do. Look, as a fan, as football fans, we have a right to support the club, our clubs or whatever, or view football any way that we can, whether it's, by investing all the money and whatever and having, I can have Chelsea bed sheets or whatever it may be. But we can, as neutral fans per se, because me personally, I don't view Arsenal as a rival. As a neutral fan, I can also look at other fans and you see the situation that's going on at your club and say that you're not helping it. You're possibly even making it worse.
I hear it when you say that, bro. I hear when you say that. We're going to get Wilson on the line here. Wilson, long-time viewer. Actually, Wilson's one of the first Arsenal fans we ever had on the Football Terrace, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Terry. I'm doing good.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
We need to get real. Last season, Arteta had to clean up the massive mess that previous managers have left, right? Last season, great achievement winning FA Cup, getting to Europe and everything. This season, we need to be real. We've been poor, written all over it. I understand Arteta's made some poor decisions, leaving Saliba out, which I don't get. As far as the Ozil and Guendouzi situations are concerned, I think he made the right calls because he clearly didn't want people who don't work hard enough in the squad, and he certainly didn't want Guendouzi there because he's going to cause disruption to the squad. So, but he has made mistakes, such as not including enough youngsters in the lineups, simply because the experienced players have been letting him down time after time after time. Most of these players have failed under previous managers, and they're still failing now. Still. And it's embarrassing, and a club of Arsenal's size should not be 15th. It's embarrassing. It really is. And something has got to be done about it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Wilson,
Simple.
listen, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's there are managerial problems, there are structural problems, there's the way the club's being run. And Arsenal fans, the same as Man United fans, have got to get off this weird high horse of, after hearing a couple of good PR spins, believing things have changed. The only way you know something's changed is if you get 3-4 years of it being run correctly. I've said this to United fans. Bring in Poch.
Yeah.
They can do all the announcements they want about, we're restructuring the scouting network and we've got somebody new handling the transfers and we're doing all these new things. I'm only going to believe it if, one, we yield success, and two, we're still running those processes, if they're successful, in 2 or 3 years' time. That's the only time I'm going to believe you've changed. It's like if you've got a friend who has a problem, I don't know. I had a mate, right? It was a good friend of mine. He could have a drink. He'd never have a drinking problem. But if he ever drunk vodka, he used to go a bit mental. Like, he literally would become like beer, cider, brandy, whatever he drunk, champagne, he was fine. Vodka turned him weird, right? And I remember him always saying, I remember him like, I'm over it now. I won't do it anymore. I won't behave like that anymore. But every time he said it, I didn't believe him. It took 3, 4, 5 times of him not behaving like that when we were out and he had a drink of that particular liquor for me to believe that he'd changed these ways. He changed. Do you get what I'm saying? I can't just believe you've changed until I see it once, twice, 3 times a lady. And that's my problem with Arsenal and with Man United fans. We're too quick to believe things. Look, by the way, the Ollie outers, if Pop comes in tomorrow, they'll suddenly snap into this. We're perfect. In their minds, they'll promote this. We're now a perfectly run club again. And all the PR will come out and, this is going to be great. And we'll win 3 or 4 games and it'll look brilliant. See, it was the manager. I told you. And then it all falls down again because the club is structured poorly and they start to look for the easy things to blame. You have to look at the club. You have to look at the manager. You have to look at the players. But overall, it's the way the board run things. There's no doubt about it. Gentlemen, I appreciate you both coming on, having your say. I'm going to jump to one more caller. Thank you both very, very much. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, Prime. Really appreciate it, gents. We've got Kai on the line. What are you saying, brother?
Yo, Terry, how are you?
I'm good, my man. I'm good. What do you want to say?
It's been a long time. I've been saying, look, if it was anywhere other than Arsenal, Arteta would be at the job center right now looking for a job. And the fact that Arsenal fans are still holding on to hope that this guy might work, to me is ridiculous, if I'm honest with you. I just think it's ridiculous. Like, one of the biggest proof of that, DT, if you watch his latest podcast on with Robbie, He was behaving like a 14-year-old child just so he doesn't admit that he was wrong. That this guy isn't better than Oli, that he isn't better than Lampard, and he is way out of his depth. And any person with a little bit of job experience can see that this guy has no clue what to do and he can't turn it around. As the sooner they get rid of him, the better. Because right now he's taking Arsenal all the way to relegation. With all due respect to Igal, what he was saying is just hopeless thinking. All he was doing is just hoping that this guy will work. Because if you look at the Arsenal board right now, people are saying, oh, give him until January, back him. Right now, if I was the Arsenal board and I saw this guy under Newcastle, under all those teams, I would say, why would I back this guy? Why would I waste more money on this guy that is failing with the squad that he has right now? It doesn't make sense to me. If you make sense of it, Terry, please enlighten me, because I am confused, man.
Well, this is where you need your club to be a well-run club, because if they can see, the only way it makes sense is if they can see something behind the scenes. So there was always these rumors when Fergie was struggling in his first 3 or 4 years at United that they were close to sacking him. This always, the board then denied it, since have denied it. There's never been a kind of story that's come out ever from people that have left the club saying actually he was one game away. It was always no. We knew what was being built behind the scenes, the changes to the academy. It was always going to take 3 or 4 years to change the culture at the football club, remove the drinking culture, better diets, better attitudes, removing all the people that didn't want to really fight for the badge, were there just for the prestige of being a United player and not to make the club great again. And I think that if they're seeing that from Arteta, if they're looking at it going, look, we know that the half the issue here is there's 10, 12 members of our squad that need removing, but we can't do it straight away. It's going to take 2 or 3 years. If he's building for the future, if they can see something that we can't, and they're willing to risk going down in the process of rebuilding it, then it makes sense to me. But we're not going to know that for another 2 or 3 years. But the problem is, if that isn't there, then there's a major issue. And it's about how good Edu and the board are at their due diligence. My club, Man United, shocking at it. Now, we gave Oli the job based on that 3-month run of form.
Yeah.
And now we've seen the deficiencies in his ability, in his coaching, his management, and his tactics. Doesn't have no tactics, like some people say, but there is definitely, it isn't at the elite level. It's down to the board to assess him over those 3 months to work out whether he's actually good enough, and not do as you've just said. Have blind hope that, well, hopefully he'll improve. Yeah, there's these 3 or 4 holes in his game that he can't do, but maybe he'll evolve and develop in that time. My question would be, who's developing him? There's no one at Man United who's able to develop him. Who at Arsenal is going to develop Mikel Arteta and hold his hand through this process? Now, the only way it makes sense now, let's say there's 5 players that are sitting in that training ground that are legitimately destabilizing things. The club need to come out and out them, not the manager. The Edu and the club need to come out and say, we're banishing these 5 people from training because of these. Then I believe that Arteta is doing something good, and it's more about stabilizing the situation. I don't think it is, though. I don't think the owners care that deeply about winning things. They will sack him and they will stay in the Premier League, and that's all they care about. Arsenal are going to continue to reduce their outgoings enough to not miss having no Champions League money. We're finishing between 16th, finishing between 17th and 5th financially won't impact them, and that's where Arsenal are going to stay. And every now and then they might have a little top 4 push when they click one season. But Arsenal Football Club, forget the manager, forget the players, forget the fans. The actual club, the board that own it, have no ambitions to be a top team anymore, the same as Manchester United. And when that's how you're run, you are never going to create success. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. There's no longevity in managers anymore. So what you need is longevity in your club's plan. And Arsenal don't have that, bro.
You know what it reminds me? It reminds me when Chelsea was in the 2nd season after Mourinho and he came back. When Diego Costa couldn't be asked, when Fabregas couldn't place a pass, it just looks like the player do not care. Look at it. I will bet you, as soon as a new manager comes in, you will see Aubameyang scoring goals again. And if you remember the game after Mourinho was sacked, Chelsea won 3-1 easily as well. So it reminds me, from experience, I know that these players do not like Arteta. Why? I don't know why. But they seem like they don't want to play for him. I could be wrong, but from what happened to Chelsea, it looks very, very similar.
Mate, I completely agree. Kai, I love it. Love you coming back on the show, mate. It's been a while.
I love being back too.
We'll speak to you again soon. No worries, brother. Take care of yourself. Everybody else who's tuned in, thank you. A massive shout out to our 6. We had 6. That is 6, Terry. That's 6. Can't count. 6 new members sign up to our channel today, which is absolutely amazing. Until next time, people, look up. We're live after the Chelsea game, and we're going to be live later on tonight doing a Liverpool-Tottenham preview. So make sure you're tuning in for both those streams.